the chair of the Arts and Science Department over at Presentation College. She is Dr. Naomi Ludeman-Smith. Doctor, how are we doing today?
Hey, great. It's great to be here, David. Thanks.
Good to be here with you as well. On the phone lines as well, we've got Dr. John Anderson. He is the professor over there at Presentation College teaching the Islam and the Muslim World course as well, along with Cody Samuelson as well. He is a student there over at Presentation College, enrolled in that class, as Dr. John Anderson is on line number 2 here. Doctor, I got to ask, so far, how has the course gone so far for you guys?
Yeah, I really think that the course has exceeded really my expectations. The students they've proven to be thoughtful, engaged. They're open to challenging themselves with new material, new ways of thinking. And we've really looked at, some very complicated issues, from Islam's origins and belief to actually reading from the Quran, reading the Quran itself, to looking at this timeless issue recently here of militant Islam, to now having just finished a book on Islamophobia. So we're dealing with very controversial, hot-button issues. We've welcomed 2 guests virtually to join us. The first was a representative from the Muslim Community Center of South Dakota and Sioux Falls, and the second was the author of one of our textbooks, who also happens to be embedded for the rest of this academic year with the State Department in Washington, D.C. And those are really incredible experiences for all involved and for myself as well. I just really think it's been a great experience for me, and I think also for the students. We all seem to be learning quite a bit as we navigate some of this difficult terrain.
Especially in 2016, it's like you said, a little bit difficult to kind of break down some of those barriers. But you said the students have really kind of knocked down your expectations. They said your expectations were blown out of the water. I'm just curious, what were your expectations going into teaching this course?
Yeah, well, I think in going into teaching any class, you're always hopeful that the students will latch onto the material and be engaged and find something to be passionate about, just like you're passionate about the material you're teaching. And so I really, in preparing for this class, just really engrossed myself in reading and thinking and kind of grappling with Islam and the Muslim world again, and really got passionate about it. And so the hope was that the students would do the same. And any professor is going to tell you the truth is going to have to admit that there are always those classes, those students that don't go as well as you had hoped. And so this is certainly a class that has far exceeded my expectations in terms of just the students' willingness to dive in. And I think that's partly because we're able to see just how relevant all of these questions in this material is in our real world. You see it on the news every day. It's happening right before our eyes, and I think that's part of what animates that passion for them.
Indeed. Dr. John Anderson joining us here on the phone lines. Also, one of those students in your class is Cody Samuelson. He also joins us on our second phone line here. And Cody, I just got to first and foremost, I got to say, I appreciate your service. Of course, he's a part-time soldier with the Army National Guard. So, Cody, I appreciate your service first and foremost. And I got to ask you, how's your experience been with this class so far?
That's a good question, Dave. To be honest with you, I'm in my senior year right now at Presentation, and kind of really planning for like the next step of where my life's direction is going to take me. So when I saw this class was going to be offered for the first time, I probably didn't take it as seriously. At first, I just enrolled in it, kind of thinking maybe it'd help me out, learn something more about basically the histories of the Islamic faith, and more than anything, I wanted to learn the history of, the region of the Arabian Peninsula, mm-hmm. and how it was all shaped by the League of Nations post-World War I and whatnot. But as we dove deeper and deeper into the course material, I just kind of found myself enamored with how much I was learning, and how, I guess, not to piggyback off Dr. Anderson here, but, how much everybody was thoroughly engaged with some of the course material. We really have gotten some great dialogue through our forum discussions through the course, and I'm very thankful to have taken the plunge and, taken this course, I guess.
Has there been anything in particular that's kind of stood out to you to say, wow, I actually had no idea that was kind of the way things work in a maybe different portion of the world? Anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. In some of my dialogue with Dr. Anderson, especially after having read the Quran pretty much cover to cover, we had a pretty good dialogue where he kind of explained to me that in a lot of ways the Islamic faith and the teachings of the Prophet were more of a continuation of Judeo-Christianity rather than being opposed to it. And this is something I think a lot of people who haven't maybe studied areas such as this are very unfamiliar with, and it was quite the eye-opener for me.
Again, we're joined by Cody Samuelson on the phone line, senior over there at Presentation College, along with Dr. John Anderson. And in studio here is Dr. Naomi Ludeman-Smith. Doctor, it's good to have you here, obviously. And, being here in the community, you hear all kinds of good things back from the community. I'm just curious, what's the feedback been like from you?
Well, it's been overall, it's been positive. It's been, people are supportive, saying we need to be studying these kinds of topics that, like we've said, are very relevant to our day-to-day lives, what we're hearing in the news, to understand our neighbors better, as we know that the Muslim population is growing in Aberdeen, and to break down those stereotypes. And like Cody said, things we didn't know or that we thought were true about Islam are not true. So, just overall, it's what education does, helps us be more informed. So we did get pushback, and that's okay. That's what education is about. And we're pleased to be able to do that. But when you have a professor like Dr. Anderson, who does this so thoughtfully, and his scholarship is so high, that we can do this really well in good civil ways.
And is this just going to be a one-year kind of thing, or maybe even move this course into next year and the year after that, or is this one's going to keep on continuing on?
Great question. The most colleges and universities, they have kind of this rotation of courses. So the next course will be world religions. That's what's on the next docket. So this spring, world religions will be taught online. In the summer, it will also be taught online, along with Catholicism and a course called Justice and Peace with Dr. Martin Elbow. The future for this particular course is that it would be taught in another year. I think we might rethink that together because of its relevance today and because of how well this class has gone, the popularity of it, both amongst our students and also with community members. Dr. Anderson, is it 4 students who are enrolled auditing the course? Is that the correct number?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, 4 people, some from the community, some from the PC family are auditing this class above and beyond their normal duties or day-to-day jobs because they see the material, again, as being so foundational to questions and issues that we're dealing with now. And because I think that there's really just a genuine curiosity about Islam within the population today. A lot of people have very strong opinions one way or the other, but a lot of times, and we see the same thing with the Bible, that opinion is not always backed up by the amount of knowledge and experience that one would hope. And so that genuine curiosity, I think, and this course has then allowed people, not just from Presentation, but people in the community as well, to kind of scratch that itch and explore Islam much more in depth.
Indeed. We're joined by Dr. Naomi Ludeman-Smith here in studio, also Dr. John Anderson on the phone line as well, and Cody Samuelson as well. And I just got to ask, how have the numbers been for this course? I've heard they've been pretty high.
Well, when we sent the press release out about the course, it was just motivated by wanting to market the course because we knew we needed to offer this course and we needed to fill it. We had 3 students in it. That's what was motivating it. Now we have 13, so that's a pretty good percentage of increase. And of course we can take more students in the class, especially when it's online, and that just affords us the ability to spread it out across the United States, really, for students to enroll in the course. So we're pleased with that number. Of course, we're looking for higher numbers too.
Sir, certainly that is fantastic, and I think we're kind of up against the clock here a little bit, and I'm just going to leave the floor to each of you just before we leave. And Dr. Anderson, is there anything else you'd like to say before we turn you loose here?
I just think that a class like this is an opportunity to dig more deeply into something that is not going to go away. These questions related to Islam and the Muslim world, again, I've said this before, we see these questions on the news every day. We saw them dominate our election cycle by and large. We've seen them presented in a variety of ways, and they're not issues that are going to go away anytime soon. And so a class like this is a unique opportunity to be able to engage and learn about and dialogue on those issues in a thoughtful, open way, much more productive certainly than trying to dialogue with family members on Facebook about these issues, I suspect. And so I think, I'm hopeful that the class will continue to be taught regularly and that we will have more people from the community and from PC want to join us.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Anderson. We'll let you go. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Yes, you as well. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. And also on the phone line, Cody Samuelson. And Cody, before I let you go, any final parting words?
Honestly, from taking the course, probably one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten so far through some of the material is some of the reading with Dr. Todd Green, who wrote the book on Islamophobia that we just finished. And basically, I guess I'd just like to leave the people with a quote from him. He basically, asserts that, people don't fear what they don't know. People more often than not just fear what they are conditioned to fear. So a really good way to, subjugate that, I guess, is to just educate ourselves and have an open, friendly dialogue with our neighbors and, our fellow people. So I guess that's probably the last thing I have.
Cody, well said. And again, I appreciate your service. Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
All right, you do the same. That is Cody Samuelson joining us here on our phone lines as well. And again, Dr. Naomi Ludeman-Smith, anything else you'd like to say before we let you go here?
What do you say when you have great students like Cody?
I guess.
Yeah, and this is what we're just seeing at presentation is really thoughtful students who are engaging and want to engage in what's happening in the world. So we invite others to join us and email registrar at presentation.edu and join us for Associate of Arts degree or a class here and there on religious studies and anything else that we're offering.